The triumph of devotion, Savitri's encounter with Yama. In the verdant hush of ancient forests, where the whispers of sages mingled with the rustle of leaves, a tale of unyielding love was etched into the annals of eternity. It was the age of the Mahabharata, when kings wandered in exile and gods walked among mortals, their footsteps echoing like thunder across the earth. King Ashwapati of Madra, his heart heavy with the barren silence of childlessness, had knelt before the sacred fires for 18 relentless years. His offerings rose like crimson smoke to the heavens, pleading for an heir to light his fading dynasty. The goddess Savitri, radiant embodiment of divine speech and Brahma's consort, descended in a blaze of ethereal light, her eyes like twin lotuses blooming in dawn's first blush. "A daughter shall grace your halls," she decreed, her voice a melody that soothed the king's aching soul. And so, from the queen's womb emerged Savitri, a girl of such luminous beauty and fierce spirit that she seemed forged from the stars themselves, her laughter a balm to the weary world. As years wove their silken threads, Savitri blossomed into a woman whose gaze could pierce veils of illusion. Suitors trembled at her threshold, their bravado crumbling like autumn leaves under her discerning eyes. On a day perfumed with jasmine and sanctified by Vedic chants, her father granted her the sacred freedom to choose her heart's companion. Mounted in a chariot of burnished gold, she traversed hermitages and shadowed glens, her spirit questing like a falcon on the wind. Fate led her to the humble abode of Dumatsena, the blind king of Shalva, dethroned and exiled to the wilds with his devoted wife Shaivya and their son Satyavan. Oh, Satyavan, a prince in beggar's rags, his form chiseled like a god's marble, his eyes holding the quiet fire of righteousness, his hands calloused from hewing wood, yet gentle as monsoon rain. Savitri's heart, once a fortress of resolve, surrendered in a torrent of love, raw, consuming, eternal. She returned to her father's court, where the sage Narada, with his lute of wisdom and eyes that saw beyond time's veil, awaited. "Your choice is noble," Narada intoned, his voice grave as gathering storm clouds, laced with an undercurrent of reluctant respect. "But doom shadows him. In 1 year, Yama's noose shall claim Satyavan's breath." The words struck like arrows into Ashwapati's breast, grief twisting his features into a mask of paternal torment. He begged, implored, his royal pride fracturing under the weight of foresight's curse. Savitri, her chin lifted in defiant grace, felt a chill coil around her throat, yet her love burned fiercer than any prophecy's ice. "My mind is a mountain unmoved by tempests," she declared, her voice steady, laced with the steel of destiny's challengers. Narada's lips curved in reluctant admiration, and the unions were sealed in the forest's emerald cathedral, vows exchanged under the canopy of ancient banyans. Savitri shed her silks for bark cloth, her jewels for the simplicity of exile, her days a tapestry of tender service. To her blind father-in-law, whose faded eyes she revived with stories of forgotten glories. To her mother-in-law, whose sighs she eased with herbal brews. And to Satyavan, whose every touch ignited galaxies within her soul. But the shadow loomed, inexorable as the sun's descent. 3 dawns before the fated hour, dread gnawed at Savitri's bones like a ravenous beast. She fasted in austere vigil, her body a temple of penance, standing through nights where stars wept silver tears upon her upturned face. Her heart, a cauldron of anguish and resolve, hammered with the rhythm of unspoken farewells. On the accursed day, as bird-song mocked the gathering gloom, Satyavan shouldered his axe and ventured into the woods, Savitri trailing like his devoted shadow, her steps light yet laden with foreboding. The forest cradled them in deceptive peace. Satyavan felled timber with swings of tireless might, sweat beading on his brow like dew on lotus petals. Exhaustion claimed him at last. He reclined upon the mossy earth, his head pillowed in her lap, his breaths deep and trusting, oblivious to the scythe hovering unseen. Then the air thickened with the chill of the underworld's breath. A figure materialized from the ether, Yama, the dark sovereign, his skin like polished obsidian, 4 arms wielding the noose of inexorable fate and the mace of righteous fury. Astride his spectral buffalo, whose hooves drummed echoes of graves long dug, he loomed, eyes burning with the cold fire of judgment. With a flick of his wrist, the noose ensnared Satyavan's quivering soul, wrenching it from flesh in a silent scream that rent Savitri's world asunder. Agony exploded in her chest, a supernova of loss that blurred her vision with scalding tears. Satyavan's body slumped, lifeless, his warmth ebbing like a river stolen by drought. "No!" she wailed, the cry a primal thunder that shook the leaves from branches. But in that abyss of despair, her love forged a blade of courage. She arose, a whirlwind of grief and fury, and pursued Yama through thickets that clawed at her like jealous specters. Yama paused, his divine gaze flickering with surprise at this mortal woman's audacity. "Return, daughter of Dharma," he commanded, his voice resonant as the tolling of doomsday bells, laced with an undercurrent of reluctant respect. But the laws of death brook no exceptions. But Savitri, her heart a forge of eloquence and unbreaking will, matched his stride, her voice flowing like sacred Ganges waters, homilies on virtue's unbreakable chain, on compassion's quiet sovereignty, on the sanctity of the wedded bond. Each syllable dripped with the raw emotion of a soul laid bare. The terror of widowhood's void, the fierce joy of love's conquest, the defiant hope that bent even gods to mercy. Yama, the unyielding arbiter whose heart had long calcified in duty's forge, felt stirrings, admiration blooming like a reluctant dawn, his stern features softening in the face of such profound fidelity. Impressed, the Lord of the Dead extended his boon. Ask thrice, but not for his life. Savitri's mind, sharpened by desperation's whetstone, wove her pleas with cunning grace. First, she sought sight and vigor for Dumatsena, her voice trembling with filial ache, and Yama granted it, his nod a concession to her purity. Next, the throne's restoration, her tone swelling with visions of justice reclaimed, and again he yielded. Then a century of sons for her father Ashwapati, her plea infused with the bittersweet pang of legacy's weight, bestowed. Finally, sons for Savitri and Satyavan, her words a velvet trap of logic and longing. "How shall I bear them without my lord?" she pressed, her eyes locking onto his, brimming with the ocean of her devotion. Yama's composure cracked, a rare tremor of emotion crossing his eternal face. Pity, awe, the faint echo of his own lost humanities. "You have outwitted fate itself," he murmured, his voice hushed with wonder. The noose uncoiled, Satyavan's soul surged back, igniting his form with life's defiant spark. As twilight draped the woods in amethyst veils, Satyavan stirred, confusion etching his noble brow, only to melt into belivered bliss at Savitri's tear-streaked smile. She cradled him, her relief a cascade of sobs and whispers, the weight of victory lightening her burdened frame. They returned to the hermitage, where joy erupted like festival flames. Dumatsena's eyes, once shrouded in darkness, beheld his son anew, his embrace a fortress of gratitude. Messengers soon heralded the usurper's fall, thrones awaited, dynasties bloomed. In time, Savitri's womb cradled 100 sons, each a testament to love's alchemy. And Yama? In the shadowed halls of Yamaloka, the god pondered that mortal flame that had warmed even death's cold throne. a reminder that Dharma's true power lies not in chains, but in the heart's unquenchable fire.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.